This is a quick overview of the DIY kit provided by Gatecrafters for the Apollo series gate opener. Specifically, Apollos that have the 800 series control board. First, you're going to notice a receiver. This receiver is chosen because of its capabilities on the DIY market. This particular receiver, the Estate Swing 433 MHz receiver, is chosen because of its range and its DIY capabilities. Has two wireless keypads that are compatible with it, the Estate Swing Residential and Commercial series keypads. It has a wireless adapter that can be added to any device, including an old model keypad that you may be wanting to keep in your system and change into a wireless one to work with this. It also has remotes that are priced much lower than most of the other ones found on the market. So we found our DIY customers are served better by having this in their system than having any other receiver. This simply wires in to these green terminal strips. You may have 4 wires to do this, or it only takes 3. If you notice on this end, we joined the black and the green together. Since the black and the green go together, if you wanted to just use one wire, you could, and you would leave this jumper in place. However, if you're going to use a terminal block set up this way with 4 separate wires, you're going to remove the jumper. The white wire will go to the second terminal, channel 1. The green wire will go to the third terminal, channel 1. These are both marked channel 1, and without the jumper in place, it does not matter which one goes to which. The red will go to the second to last one, marked V positive, and the black will go to ground. This terminal block plugs in the upper left-hand corner of the control board. If you were making a 3-wire connection, the empty channel 1 terminal would go to input on the terminal block. The second channel 1 that's jumper to ground would have 1 wire that connects ground to ground, and the jumper would take care of the second connection. And lastly, the 12 volt on the control board would go to V positive on the receiver. The Apollo gate opener is always powered through a battery. The battery is not provided, but you're going to buy a 12 volt Deep Cycle Marine battery, Group 24. You'll notice on the arm plug that plugs into the bottom here, there's a loose red and a loose black wire. That's what connects to the battery. That is the only place power comes into this control board, is from the battery to the arm connection through this plug. Next, you have to keep the battery charged. This is part of the Gatecrafters DIY kit, is to always provide you a way to do so. If you choose not to buy a solar panel and you want to keep the battery trickle charged, you're going to receive from us a transformer. It's a DC transformer. The white stripe wire is positive, the solid black wire is negative. The transformer will hook up to this charge control board where it says solar. Because this is a DC output, we can use a solar charge control board to regulate the incoming power from the transformer to the battery. So the positive wire will go to solar positive, the negative wire will go to solar negative. Then you'll hook up the battery positive and negative to the battery positive and negative terminals on the solar charge control board. Lastly, you have 2 out terminals. These are auxiliary terminals that you're not going to use in this application. If you're using a solar panel, a 5 or 10 watt solar panel connects directly to your battery. Because these solar panels have a very low amperage output, they cannot overcharge your battery because they do not have the amperage that's necessary to overcharge a battery and force their way into the cells. If you have a 20 watt panel, you will also receive this charge control board. With the 20 watt panel, the positive and negative of the solar panel go to the solar positive and negative, and the battery goes to the battery. This is another bag of hardware that you might see in your kit. This is a coax connector. If you have an old receiver from another system, you might have the ability to use this coax connector. You'll notice on the side of the metal box there's a coax junction. If your receiver is one of the old receivers left over from a previous system, you may have a coax connector for the receiver antenna. You can utilize this coax jumper to connect between the receiver inside the box and the coax antenna on the outside of the box. The modern day 433 MHz receivers do not have this coax connection, and you won't have to use this wire. Secondly, you'll notice a siren. The siren may or may not get used depending on your preferences. This will sound when the gate starts moving and also when there's an obstruction that results in a hard shutdown. The siren gets wired in on this side of the control board to the terminals siren and ground. Lastly, you'll see a set of keys. You also see a button on the side of the box with a keyhole below it. That button will open and close the gate if the key is turned in a position where it's connecting the circuit. Since this button can open and close the gate, you wouldn't want to leave it on all the time, or anyone could have access to your gate. So if you insert the key, turn it, and remove the key, it'll break the circuit, and you can press the button and nothing will happen. Then, if you want to utilize the button for setup or testing later on, you can bring the key out with you, turn the key, and then press the button. This last part of the DIY kit is only for the linear actuator arms of the Apollo series. You will notice that you received 2 L-shaped brackets in with your kit. These are for bolt-on application of your pivot arm. Please take a look at page 7 of your instructions. You'll notice that it refers to a setback, and it shows this square tubing pivot arm at an angle from your post, so the hole in it is at the correct position for the 13x6 setback. Now normally what you would do is cut this bar at an angle, put it on the post, and weld it in place. This of course is not very DIY friendly, as most people do not have welding abilities. Apollo sells a bolt-on kit that has a plate that's already welded to the back of this. However, it's only set up for one size post, which is 5x5, with the gate mounted in the center of that 5x5 post. Other than that, the bar is either too long, too short, or at the wrong angle. So that's not very helpful either. What we've done is included these 2 L-shaped brackets. The oblong rectangular holes go on the post. This bracket sits sandwiched between the 2 flanges. You will cut this bracket as needed, angle it as needed, and then drill a hole through the center hole. Reposition this again to make sure you have the correct angle, and then drill a second hole that goes through both this bracket, the bottom bracket, and this bracket in between, holding this from pivoting. This will get you the setback you need with any size post and makes it a simple DIY installation that requires no welding.